They say when you dig a pit for your sister, you should dig two, because destiny has a way of turning the shovel back toward your own hands. This is the story of Adanna and Chioma, two sisters, bound by blood, but divided by something far more dangerous than hate. Stay with me, because what happened in their village still echoes as a warning across the savannah winds.
Welcome home to Tales from the Baobab, where wisdom lives in stories.
In the village of Umweze, where the earth was red and the yam harvests were blessed, there lived two sisters, Adanna and Chioma. They were born from the same womb, suckled the same breast, but the ancestors had woven their destinies with very different threads. Adanna, the elder, was beautiful. Her skin glowed like polished mahogany, and her laughter could charm the hornbills from the trees. But Chioma was something else entirely. She possessed what our people call Ife Chukwunyere, the gift that God himself had bestowed. Chioma's beauty was not just in her face, though the moonlight seemed to follow her wherever she walked. No, her beauty lived in her spirit. When she spoke, even the quarrelsome village chiefs would quiet down to listen. When she cooked, the aroma would pull the hungriest traveler from the farthest road. When she smiled, it was as if the sun had learnt joy from her lips. The village elders would whisper, "That girl has been touched by a demili. The water goddess herself has blessed her." But as our people say, "Ekwensu na ebi no binke onye na eku ekoro." The devil lives in the heart of the jealous one. Adanna watched her younger sister receive praise after praise, gift after gift, admiring glance after admiring glance. And with each passing moon, something bitter began to grow in her chest, something that wrapped around her heart like cassava vines around a dying tree. Why her? Adanna would hiss into the darkness. "We share the same blood. I came first, yet they treat her like she's molded from gold while I am mere clay."
Then came the day that changed everything. Prince Obina of the neighboring kingdom arrived in Umueze seeking a bride. He was tall as an iroko tree, strong as a leopard, and wealthy beyond measure. Every maiden in the village adorned herself with coral beads and uli body paint, hoping to catch his eye. When Prince Obina's gaze first fell upon Adanna, she smiled with all the cunning she could summon. She swayed her hips like the palm trees in Hamatan wind. She spoke in honeyed tones. She even pretended to trip, so he might catch her arm. But when the prince saw Chioma, he forgot to breathe. It wasn't just that she was beautiful. It was that when she greeted him, she bowed with genuine respect, not performance. When she offered him palm wine, her hands did not tremble with scheme, but steadied with grace. When she spoke, she asked about his journey, his people, his mother's health, not his wealth or status. "This is the woman I will marry," the prince declared that very evening, "not because my eyes desire her, but because my spirit recognizes its home." If jealousy was fire before, it now became a wildfire in Adanna's soul. That night, she did not sleep. She paced her heart like a caged civet cat, her mind spinning darker and darker schemes. As our elders warn, "Onye na-achọ chi na-akwa akwa n'ikipe asu." She who seeks laughter through wickedness will weep in the end. But Adanna could no longer hear wisdom. Jealousy had closed her ears.
3 nights before the wedding, Adanna crept to the hut of Ogwagu, a medicine man known for walking the line between healing and hexing. The kind of man whose eyes had seen things that made even shadows afraid. "I want my sister destroyed," Adanna whispered, placing a bag of cowrie shells before him. "I want her beauty to rot like a forgotten yam.
I want the prince to see her and recoil in disgust. I want her to know the pain of being nothing. Ogoagu studied her for a long moment. Then he said something that should have stopped her. Daughter, listen to an old man's wisdom. The medicine that poisons your enemy will first pass through your own hands. Are you certain you want to drink from this calabash? Give me the medicine, Adanna snarled. The medicine man prepared a terrible concoction, a cursed ointment that would disfigure whoever it touched, turning beautiful skin into something grotesque and scarred. But there was a condition, a sacred law. The curse must be delivered through an act of sisterly love. You must anoint her yourself, as if blessing her for the wedding. Only then will the ancestors allow this evil to take root. But hear me well. Ihe ojo imere madu gadi hajigi. The evil you do to others will return to you. Adanna laughed. Old man, stop frightening me with grandmother tales. On the eve of the wedding, Adanna came to Chioma's hut with the clay pot hidden under her wrapper. My sister, Adanna said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. I have been wicked in my heart. I confess I was jealous of you, but tonight I want to make amends. I have prepared a special ointment blessed by a mother's mother spirit. Let me anoint you for your wedding. Let me be the sister I should have been. Chioma's eyes filled with tears of joy. Sister, I have missed you. I have felt the coldness between us like a thorn in my heart. Yes, please, anoint me. Let us be truly sisters again. But as Adanna reached for the pot, something happened. You see, their old mother, Mama Chioma, had been watching from the shadows. She had seen Adanna sneak to the medicine man. She had followed her daughter through the night, and though she was too old to run, she was not too old to pray. As Adanna's hand touched the pot, Mama Chioma cried out, Chukwu, God of our fathers, if this pot carries evil, let it fall on the one who brought it. The pot slipped. In that fraction of a heartbeat, as if the very hands of the ancestors had intervened, the cursed ointment splashed backward, coating not Chioma's face, but Adanna's own hands and arms. The transformation was immediate and terrible. Adanna screamed as her skin began to bubble and scar, the curse she had meant for her sister, now consuming her own flesh. Her beautiful arms turned grotesque, her fingers twisted, her skin became a map of her own wickedness. Sister, what have you done? Chioma cried, reaching for her, but Adanna fell back, screaming, not just from pain, but from the crushing realization of what she had become, a living testimony to the proverb, Onye na igu ululu, ya anwe ya ga dabani meya. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it themselves. Oguagu appeared at the doorway, his face grave. I warned you, daughter of Umweze. The curse that travels through jealousy cannot be aimed. It explodes in the hand of the one who carries it. The wedding still happened, but there was no joy in it. How could there be? Chioma married her prince, yes, but her heart was broken for her sister. Every day after her wedding, Chioma would visit Adanna, bringing food, medicine, comfort. The very sister who had tried to destroy her now became her caretaker. Why? Adanna finally asked one day, her voice broken. Why do you show me love when I try to curse you? Chioma took her sister's scarred hand and said, because Nwani dinamba kanku dinoku. A sibling in trouble is like firewood in the flames. We do not abandon it, we pull it out. You are my sister. Your wickedness could not change that. It took months, but slowly, something shifted in Adanna's heart. Not her skin, no, Those scars remained as a permanent reminder, but her spirit began to heal. She learned to weave baskets with her twisted hands. She learned to tell stories to children who did not fear her scars. She learned that true beauty was never in the face. It was in the choice to love despite pain, to forgive despite betrayal, to build despite loss. Years later, when the story keepers would ask Adanna what lesson she had learned, she would say, "I learned that jealousy is a poison you drink yourself, hoping another will die. I learned that what you send into the world with evil intention will return to you with perfect aim. And I learned that the sister I tried to destroy became the angel who saved me."
And so, the people of Umwesi still tell the story beneath the Baobab tree, reminding each generation, when you celebrate another's gifts, you create more light in the world. But when you curse another's blessings, you strangle your own destiny. Adanna's revenge destroyed no one but herself, but Chioma's forgiveness, that redeemed them both. As our ancestors whisper on the wind, Igwe buike, unity is strength. Onyea gala waneya, never abandon your sibling. Here are tales from the Baobab tree, where wisdom lives in stories. We gather around the ancient tree to remember who we are and who we must become. If this story starts something in your spirit, if it reminded you of a jealousy you need to release or a sister you need to forgive, then you're exactly where you need to be. Drop a comment below. What lesson from Adanna and Chioma's story will you carry forward? And if you believe these old wisdoms need new voices, subscribe to this circle, because every time you return, we'll have another story waiting. Stories that don't just entertain, but transform. Hit that notification bell. The Baobab tree has many more secrets to share, and you don't want to miss a single one. Until next time, may your heart stay soft and your hands stay clean. Dalu, thank you. Asante.